Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of the Wizard101 complete story guide series. Today we're doing Marleybone, the third world in the spiral that you go to. Next episode you'll see, but it's not Mushu. It is probably going to be Grizzleheim. But yeah, we're going to get right into it today. So I'm going to do the exposition section again, mostly gained from something I find really cool, and that is the books scattered around the spiral. So if you do not know, similar to the Zeke quest, there is a book quest which has books throughout all of the places in the world, and Marleybone is, I believe, the first world to have that. And I actually really like these books because they tell a lot of story and they're very interesting. So I'm going to start with that, which is the exposition, which I find to be very interesting. So the first book is titled Ancient Marleybone, and basically it describes Marleybone as a land filled with ancient dog tribes who warred against each other constantly, until one tribe rose above them to unite them, led by Bearmut, which is based on Beowulf, which is a pagan slash Christian Nordic legend of basically this great warrior. But basically in this, he defeated all the other clans in a mighty battle, but lost his life. And then all dogs decided from then on that they should strive for peace and only peace, and for the betterment of all dogs through arts and science. The next book that I find to be one of the most interesting is The Theories of Marleybone, which is based on today modern science. It states that it is believed that when the world was larger than it now, so larger than Marleybone, it was connected to other lands. Other worlds such as Wizard City, Krakatopia, and Grizzleheim are thought to have once been part of one huge land that was joined together. And it's thought that a galactic catastrophe caused the land to split apart. Primitives believed that the world was part of a great tree that broke apart after a great war. But most scholars today think this is rubbish. Most scientists believe this ancient land was struck by a large bone flying through space. So that's obviously based on the modern day belief that continents were once part of Pangea being the large landmass that was the only landmass on the globe surrounded by a giant ocean, and the continental drift slowly took them apart. I don't believe a meteor specifically caused them to come apart, but they came apart, and then obviously meteors helped that, like meteors eliminated all the dinosaurs. So that's what that's based on. The next one, The Rebirth of Marleybone, basically as memory of like the past faded, interest in ancient Marleybone grew. They call this the era of rebirth. Now, this is very much based on the Renaissance, and also it intermixes with a little bit with what's it called? Sorry, my brain is blanking. Industrialism, but this is specifically talking about the Renaissance. Unlike before, this exciting period began not with kings, but poets and scientists, building on ancient knowledge, which the Renaissance, if you do not know, was a European-based revolution of idea and thought that came from the interest in the Greeks and Romans and the ancients, which is what this is based on. Inventors developed first machines at this time, such as the printing press, which was built by Gutenberg in the 1500s or the 1400s in Germany, which also really helped the Renaissance kind of spring to life. The next, titled The Golden Age, was impacted also by the rebirth. The kingdom itself had changed, starting with Queen Ellen. Matters turned sour when a popular printer ended up in prison because he spoke out against the government. A revolt seemed likely. However, Queen Ellen released him and formed a parliament. Thus, the Queen Ellen's reign is remembered as the Golden Age. So, this is kind of twisting history a little bit because this didn't happen exactly like this in Britain. The original formation of a parliament was due to the Magna Carta signed by King John, I believe, King John II of, let me actually look that up. Magna Carta, yeah, King John of England, I believe, right? Yes, King John. So, he signed this because everyone was tired of the king's absolute power, so he formed a parliament to prevent a revolt. But this is also based on, in my opinion, Queen Ellen, and the parliament is based on Queen Elizabeth, because Queen Elizabeth's reign is known as the Golden Age of England, I believe, to a lot of scholars and a lot of history. So that's probably what this is based on. The next, titled The Spiral, while many great scientific discoveries occurred after the Golden Age, it would be a forgotten area of research that would change Marleybone forever. Harold Digmore studied ancient myths for Parliament. One evening, he spoke a line of ancient texts and suddenly found himself in Wizard City. The discovery of the spiral and of power has inspired new scientific inventions, as well as the explorations of other worlds in our ancient past. That is based on colonialism, directly based on colonialism. Basically, Britain discovered, Britain wasn't directly responsible for the discovery of the New World, but the discovery of the New World definitely did push them. Colonialism pushed them, and the exploration of new worlds is what that's inspired by. Modern Marleybone, advances in science and magic have freed many Marleybonians from hard jobs like farming. Many now enjoy long lives and leisure. These advances have also allowed some to grow more powerful than others. These power shifts can unbalance Marleybone's stability if we allow technology to get away from us. Hopefully, brave souls will set things right. Marleybone will continue to act as a beacon of knowledge and enlightenment for many other worlds as long as peace reigns at home. This is based on the industrial era and age and the effects of industrialization, because industrialization shifted many of the jobs from farming and laborious activities to working in factories and scientific advancement, which is directly what this is referring to. The Marleybone Civil War actually is very interesting to me because I think it's based on the American Civil War, but for some reason is in Marleybone. So tension between the cats and dogs of Marleybone peaked when Cat General Robert E. Leary, which I think is based on General Robert E. Lee, waged war on all the dogs of Marleybone. The dogs fought back to keep Marleybone from falling into chaos. Dog General Sherman M. Bones, which I believe is based on General Sherman of the Union Army, who was instrumental in defeating the Confederates when he marched through Georgia and absolutely devastated it. And that's sick. I do like General Sherman. Basically, he defeated the revolting cats and preserved political stability. So that is the basis of Marleybone history. Beyond that, it's been 7 minutes already, but I find this to be really interesting and I really like it because I love talking about history. But beyond that, something to point out is that Marleybone is a monarchy that has a parliament, which is based specifically on Britain's monarchy with a parliament. There tends to be monarchs. It is shown by the current monarch in this, which I forget what her name is, but it's a queen, that it is similar to real life Britain with, what's the act called? I don't remember. Is it the Hereditary Act or something? Where basically King Henry VIII allowed his daughters to also inherit the throne if necessary. So it shows that there's more equality for monarchs in this, gender equality. I think there's gender equality in the spiral anyway, but that's cool to think about. Also, you can see that they're very interested in history and stuff like that, which is also a very British thing to do. So now I'm going to start with the main story. I hope you actually enjoyed that exposition because I really did, and I think I'm going to enjoy doing that for the rest of the spiral. But we're going to start right on here. So we get to Marleybone chasing Malastare because Malastare has we believe he's going after the Croconomicon. The Croconomicon has been taken to the Royal Museum because they found it in what's it called? Crocotopia. So we go to the Royal Museum. The dude in there is like, no, can't let you see the Croconomicon. Go speak to the mayor, because the mayor is the only one who can let you do that. Mayor Pimsbury is like, okay, we'll let you see it, or we'll let you take it, but on one condition: you have to help save Marleybone, because Marleybone is being tormented by the Illyri gangs, which are the cats, and the burglars, and basically the criminals that have risen up from Marleybone. So we're like, okay, fine, whatever, we'll do that. We go to Hyde Park. We speak to a lady there. I forget what her name is. It's Lady Desane. And basically she tells us we need to find Baxter, because Baxter is a cat that knows kind of the workings of it and can help us. This is Lady Desane. Who's the one that helps us? Miss Conrail, that's who it is. So basically, we look for Baxter. We defeat some of the resident leaders, the O'Leary leaders, and then we finally get to the end of the street, and it turns out we have to beat this dude named Gearhead, and it turns out Baxter has been taken because, you know, he is pretty important, because they know that he's betraying him, or they know that Baxter is betraying the cats to the dogs, and they don't like that. So we follow them to Chelsea Court, because that's where we believe he was taken. We go to Chelsea Court. We believe that he's being kept in the Chelsea Tower, and the only way to get in the Chelsea Tower is to know the special knock. So Miss Marfley over here basically tells us we need to go speak to this guy. What is his name? I forget what his name is. William Pugsby. And William Pugsby is basically like, yes, I can help you, but you must defeat some things. So you defeat some things, and then from Shakes O'Leary, you discover that there is what the secret knock is. You go into the Chelsea Tower, and it turns out that Potbelly is guarding Baxter. Potbelly is basically just a mob, a golem mob, and you defeat him and save Baxter. From there, you go out to Sherlock Bones, who is based on Sherlock Holmes, which is very interesting and very cool. And he basically tells you, yes, so we must, you know, go to the ironworks, and Baxter will help you navigate through this and defeat the O'Leary leader that is in there. So you do that. You go to 221 Barker Lane, which is based on 221 Baker Lane, I believe, which is again, Sherlock Holmes. And you go into the ironworks, you navigate through it, defeat some O'Learys, and then you eventually defeat Pops O'Leary, who is the leader of the operation in the Digmore Station area of Marleybone. Like the Digmore Station street areas. And that allows you to save this section. But before, Mayor Pimsbury cannot let you off the hook yet. He can't let you go see the Croconomicon, because it turns out that a very dangerous cat named Meowiarty has escaped from prison. So we have to go to Scotland Yard and talk to Watson, who is Sherlock Bones' partner. And he basically is like, oh boy, Meowiarty based on Dr. Moriarty, I believe, from Sherlock Holmes. I haven't read Sherlock Holmes, but I know a little bit about it. And basically he's like, bro, you gotta help us. You gotta help us. This is bad. So we go into Newgate Prison, and in Newgate Prison we find that he has escaped from his cell, and we are chasing him down with the police officers. We start chasing him down the street, and then would you look at that, Malistaire himself pops up and says, you're meddling in my plans, young wizard, rah, and then he shakes his finger at you aggressively, and you're like, man, that sucks. And then you chase Meowiarty all the way to the end of the street, and he summons a wraith and escapes. From there, Watson's like, it sucks that he escapes, and then he's like, but you need to go help in Knight's Court because we have a criminal that's running around there. So we go into Knight's Court. We basically solve a mystery case, which is actually really fun. I really like this section of the game. We have to discover exactly who is harassing the people of the street, the innocent people. We originally fight Jocks the Scratcher. He runs around, and then we basically, like, through different clues and different things, we discover that Jocks the Scratcher is the dude, the evil dude, and then we go and battle him in Knight's Tower, and we absolutely obliterate him because he is a loser. Then we, from there, we go and we need to go to Katzenstein's lab because Dr. von Katzenstein has made a monster. No, he hasn't made a monster. He's just being pretty evil and pretty insane. So we go and stop him. He's based on Dr. von Frankenstein, who actually was from the novel by Mary Shelley, which is a really good novel. You should read it. I think it's pretty fantastic. Victor Frankenstein is a tragic story, but it is an amazing story at that. kind of shows, you know, don't mess with the natural aspects of life. Don't know if I agree with it, but it's cool. So we stop him, and then we summon a gearhead from the dude named Gronk. Gronk is cool. And basically the gearhead's like, go to the counterweights and Big Ben and battle Meowiarty there, because that is where he is. And then we go and do that because that's what we need to do. We need to stop Meowiarty before we can get the Croconomicon. At this point, I believe we're trying to stop Malistaire directly from taking the Croconomicon. We go to Big Ben, or we go to the counterweights, which allow us to go into Big Ben. We shut them down. And then we go into Big Ben. We go up like 30 towers, or it's like 15 floors. I don't know what I'm talking about. But we get to the top. Meowiarty and Malistaire are there. They're discussing. Malistaire's like, yes, I have gotten the Croconomicon. Yeah. And then he straight up dips. And then Meowiarty's like, oh, young wizard, you have come far, but this is your end. And then he battles you with an Agony Wraith and a random Clockwork minion. He has like 2,400 health or something. He's pretty easy. You beat him up, and then you decide, you're like, you come back. Sherlock Bones is like, oh no, you need to follow Malistaire. And I believe, I don't know if it's him that tells you to go to Mushu or Merlambros that tells you to go to Mushu, but basically you have to go to Mushu because that's where Malistaire has fled to. So that's the end of this. I hope you enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed the history section of this video because it let me pull on my British knowledge of different things, you know? And I thought that was really cool, really fun. I might not be able to do that with the Mushu one, to be completely honest, but I still found it fun. So if you enjoyed, please drop a like, hit the sub button. I appreciate all the support I've been getting recently. I've been getting a lot of views recently, a lot of subs. And, you know, thank you all for that. I really appreciate that. I'm not focused on that as much, but it is definitely, it definitely shows that, you know, I'm heading in the right direction with my content. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a fantastic day.